So this video is basically just an update on our Rolls Royce. We were trying to get the thing running and driving at least around the yard. We got the transmission shift actuator deal to work with the shift lever on the column, which was a win. And we got the motor to run better. We got coolant in it. It holds coolant. We're still running it on the boat gas tank and an electric fuel pump because the tank in the car is completely garbage. We have not been able to get the brakes to work. I'm assuming the pump push rods are failed like they do. I may try to fix that. We may gut the brakes and just do a different style, like regular hydraulic brake system, like race car parts or something. We do that sometimes in our old hot rods. The bigger problem is something in the rear end is stripped or broken or unhappy, or drive shaft or something. The drive shaft's turning but the car don't move. I don't know what's wrong with that. We're going to get it on the lift to check it out. But I got a prospective buyer on the car, so if someone wants it before I hack it up, I may sell it. Otherwise, we're going to get rid of all the over-engineered stuff and do it like an old hot rod. We're going to make the thing run and drive with whatever parts I can come up with. The engine and trans is great. The rest of the car, not so much. So we're just going to see. The accessories are all working. The alternator's charging. The power steering's working great. Basically, if we could make it move in stock, we'd have a car, but we're not there yet. So you can check this video out. It shows the process of what and all we did just to get it to that point. And y'all may see it again done up more as a hot rod, or it may disappear. I don't know yet. So stay tuned to find out.
What you doing, Daniel?
I'm gonna drill this lock cylinder because I don't have a key for this thing. So I bought a tractor ignition switch to put in it, but the English have made such a mess out of this that I don't know which wire it needs to run because it has like 14 wires in here. So I'm just gonna drill it so I can turn it with a screwdriver instead of hacking the harness up. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm 3 tumblers in. Four tumblers in.
We did do some research and we found that this car is actually shipped with .3 brake fluid, not the fancy mineral oil. The mineral oil was added at a later date due to suspension noises. So we're going to give this a try and see if the system will pump up and see what happens. Also worth mentioning that if this does not work, we will be installing hydraulic brakes on the car anyway and doing away with the entire system for anybody that is angry at us for pouring brake fluid in our brakes.
do when I turn it backwards? Nothing. It must be supposed to turn forward also. Why you no turn forward? Yeah, let's just got one more tumbler in it. So now I have the key switch drilled so I can turn it with my key screwdriver. And apparently on and start are not labeled because that's on and that's start. So we're now going to see if we can make this thing like do other things, like come out of gear.
All right, so to note, we did have some weird ooze leaking from the master cylinder, reservoir, tank, whatever this is, prior to adding the brake fluid for whatever that is worth.
Oh, we are taking care of our paint. Caleb made sure to bring on his nice silicone thing to not disturb the paint.
I got a special Rolls Royce gas tank straight from England. I do have to put the Rolls Royce certified fitting in it though, because this one's for a boat. Oh yeah, there's some smoke. You should film that.
That's what I was telling you guys.
All right, let's.
That's probably because we poured brake fluid in it.
It couldn't possibly be for any other reasons, like faulty wiring
Or faulty, you know, British vehicle.
My key switch doesn't work again.
There's a fire extinguisher on the bottom of one of the cars that you would like to get run in there and like get it just in case.
Okay, but I'm not using it.
Why not? Why not use my ability to go to only?
It's on the bottom of one of the roll bars. Like. What is?
Yeah, that is all the way through.
Oh, goody. You may not have lost the ability to go to start. That is the solenoid smoking.
The key won't turn. Like it won't turn to start.
Are you sure you're not stuck in start?
No, I'm stuck in lock.
Because the solenoid is... I'm fairly sure that's what that is, isn't it?
There it goes. The battery's dead.
Caleb,
What?
where?
Oh, okay.
You doing this stuff everywhere. I thought that's nowhere it is.
Red thing at the bottom of that cart. Cart right in front of you.
Okay, I'm about to
Bottom
get
of it.
this flatbed truck and pull it over here so I can...
Red cylinder. Yeah. It's for small fires.
I'm gonna go pull the flatbed truck over here so I can stow the battery. I don't know if I have another hotter battery.
What you doing, Daniel, out here in Ford land?
Oh, I'm just gonna steal the battery out of this truck and put this one on it and let it charge up for a little while because our battery charger like the magic smoke out. So we have a 460 powered battery charger.
Alright, we have gasoline.
Hold on, you got a wire right here arcing bad. Okay, so we may have came out of park.
I love that the fan is just blowing crap off. You want to choke it a little bit?
Key switch, the ignition switch is not staying on. Like when I turn it back to on, it's killing power to the coil. I want to see if the transmission works, but I'm not willing to put like transmission fluid in this, like new fluid. So this is our used fluid that we've strained, that we keep around for such scenarios.
That's a nice red color you got there.
It's not very red. How dare it rain? It's gonna rain in my nice transmission. Ah, that should be, let's try that. Starting it again. Look out, look out, look out.
I might have to tell you later. Okay, we're over full of gas.
So we got it full of transmission fluid now that we're on a new day and the rain has stopped. So we're gonna see if the transmission will go into gear now that it has fluid in it. I don't think the electric shift mechanism is working, but we're gonna run it again and see, just before we get ahead of ourselves. And those wires, I'll put them over here. Oh, you can't. Well, you can work that from over here, I guess. I think the next step now is to probably get the tires to hold air and then maybe get it in the shop so we can work on the brakes. It really needs to be on the lift. It'll drive now though.
Yeah. Mine goes both directions.
Yes. What was it spinning back here? The tire in the wheel?
I'm not 100% sure, but maybe.
It spun something. Oh, this wheel's off the ground enough to just spin.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So I'm going to get under the car and show the contraption that shifts this thing. I don't know what on earth the British were thinking when they couldn't just put a cable on this. But this contraption right here is ridiculous. I ain't never seen anything like this. But it's working, so we're gonna rock and roll with it. I'm almost tempted to, instead of using the tire machine that things don't fit on good, use that new thing I bought from the Harbor Freight and see if it works.
So we got 3 tubes. We're trying to decide which 3 tires are the worst to put the tubes in. Then we should be able to move it around.
Our tires leaked down pretty much immediately, or well, 2 of them did. They're very rotten, but we decided to put a tube in the left front and the right rear because we want to be able to move the car around the yard without it immediately going flat. So this one now has a tube in it. It's holding air and it didn't explode on anyone's face, so that's a win. This one's holding air, so we're gonna leave it alone. So we're just about ready to be able to move the car around the yard. I'm gonna try to get it in the shop on the lift and see if we can get the brakes working. And if we can't, we're gonna be mounting a either a Corvette style master cylinder on the firewall and plumbing it to the calipers, or we're gonna get a Willwood like master cylinder pedal assembly and mount it in the floor. I don't really care as long as the thing stops. We're gonna do something to make it have brakes if the factory Rolls Royce joint Citroen developed system won't just work.
The lug nuts on this thing are very interesting.
Yeah, they're bronze.
Yeah, they're bronzed. Of course, the driver's side is reverse thread. And the passenger side is standard thread.
If only Rolls Royce had used a bolt pattern that was like common, like everyone else did. We could just put wheels on it and make a much safer car. Kick it. We just had these off.
Ready to kick it.
What just happened? The suspension fell.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
It went on the ground.
Get a big hammer and hit it from the backside.
Yeah, let this down. I don't like where that's. Jack is trying to turn sideways under there.
I put a wheel scotch on the back on the outside.
Well, that's better.
So at least it won't roll away. But our proper motor car.
Yeah, it fell again.
Oh, we put DOT3 brake fluid on it. It's making clunky noises. That's what the internet said it would do. That's sketchy.
Where the brakes stuck.
Why would that hold the wheel?
Oh, that's not what's holding the wheel on. I'm just curious why the. Yeah, that brake rotor is jammed.
We're about to put a tube in a tire that has a gash in it.
Yes. Yeah, there's a large chunk of tire coming off of that.
Nope. That's too small. That moved. Yep.
Why are these so stuck?
We just had these off.
There it is.
Hey! It's a nice hammer. It's a Rolls Royce qualified tool.
I'm sure that there's somebody in the UK cringing and rolling over in their grave right now.
So we took the top off this car, the float bowl top off this car, to see why. We either had a bad needle in seat or a sunk float, and we have a sunk float. You can see it right here. It is all the way down. So we're gonna see if we can find another one or fix this one or something to make this float. There's a crack right there. Runs all the way up there.
All right, so I believe we have removed most of the gas. Torch. Exciting. Kids, don't try this at home.
Well, no, the kids aren't going to have a Rolls Royce float that's cracked.
You don't know that.
You can definitely see the crack now.
That was exciting.
Sound to me.
Clean that up and I'll smear some of this on it and see what happens.
We need this to float, so we're going to add lead to it to make it lightweight.
Yes, it's lightweight racing lead.
Wherever the fire is coming out is still cold.
Cool for a second and see what happens.
It's gotta be better than it was.
Does it?
No.
What we're trying to watch for now is if the cracked portion of the float bubbles whenever I apply heat to it while it's floating around in the water. It does not seem to be actively sinking.
If it is not actively bubbled, then it should be fine.
Well, it does not seem to be. That one side of the float is heavier than the other now, but
I don't see that as being a problem.
all right, I'm gonna say that's good enough to give that a shot.
It currently floats, yes.
That's promising.
And I do not see any bubbles coming out. Alright. I do believe that's gonna work.
So where is the brake pump on this thing?
One of them's right here beside where I'm working. One of them's here. And the other one is there behind the distributor.
Oh, okay.
Neither one of them is like easy to get to.
Fantastic. I was kind of hoping that they'd be butt terrible.
Yeah. Well, they are. So you got your wish.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and fill the rolls up with some gas. Our very custom proprietary gas tank here. Since the fuel lines on the car are missing due to epic amounts of rot. Hopefully this will make the car run long enough to make the brake pumps pump up.
So the carb still leaks gas. We're gonna keep modulating the fuel pump and trying to run the thing. We're trying to run it for 4 minutes to see if the brake pumps will pump up and start doing anything. So we got coolant in it, and we're now gonna run it for more than just seconds to see what'll happen. We did get the trans to go in gear. I don't know if I got that on video or not, but we'll do it again now. So stay tuned.
All right, do we have our hots hooked up here?
No. So we ain't gonna do nothing if I don't have that. I don't know why that doesn't work. It's probably got a blown fuse. Maybe in the rear end, you pull it in gear, the drive shaft I think is turning. I hear something